And welcome back, everybody. This is the Binary Sunset episode 8. Today we will be covering chapter 16 of The Mandalorian, the season finale. And I know a lot of you are wondering, where are Alex and Zach? Today we decided to go, just audio it today. I've been having some health problems recently. And, well, you could just say I'm not what the industry calls camera ready right now. So
I thought you were gonna compare yourself to a Star Wars monster. You don't look worse than a Rancor. I'll tell you that much.
You know what? I'll take that. I'm dealing with a little infection right now. My face isn't too pretty, so I decided you guys don't need to see that. Well, we can put it off for another week.
Yeah,
video wise. So we'll just audio it today.
You also have a beard again, but that's a different story.
Oh, I guess I do.
It's a story for another time.
Yeah, we'll paint a picture for all, and this is obviously for all of you that are on YouTube. For those of you listening, nothing has changed. So
nothing has changed.
So yeah, the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian. Zach.
So. Alex,
pretty mediocre episode.
I know. It's just.
No, you want to kick us off?
It was lame. I just have one question.
We're joking.
We're joking. Hey, spoiler alert! Are you gonna do your spoiler?
I don't want people to turn off. I don't want people to turn it off. Like, wow, these guys suck.
Aren't you gonna do your spoilers thing though?
Oh yeah. Spoiler alert for anybody, any loser out there who hasn't seen the freaking episode.
I mean, technically, wasn't this spoiled for you?
Okay, I also wanted to address one more thing before we started.
Okay. Yeah.
Some piece of shit. Okay. I was up on Thursday night / Friday morning. I was up at 2:00, but I usually wait for my roommate to watch the episodes, and he didn't want to stay up. I was playing Battlefront 2. I was
just a normal Thursday night.
Just a normal Thursday night. Drink a little wine. I was so close to just pressing play, but I didn't because I'm a good friend. Little did I know that was gonna bite me in the ass. Because the next morning I wake up and it's about 9:00. We were like, okay, at 10:00 we'll start watching because he had a work meeting at 9.
Sure.
And I wake up at 9 because I didn't really have that much work to do. And I accidentally go on Instagram. I was trying to avoid it, but I figured also, like, part of me is like, nobody's going to post anything right now. It literally came out 7 hours before I woke up. And I opened Instagram involuntarily, as I do in the mornings. The very first goddamn thing on my feed, thing on my feed is a meme. And it's a bad one, too. It's the
That's
Joey
always the worst.
From Friends meme format.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a good one.
Yeah, those are coming back.
And it was like Luke takes Grogu to the temple, and I'm like, oh my god. And then the bottom one is Joey being like, oh my god, and it's like Luke's temple gets burned by Kylo Ren, and this fucking numbnut decides to post that, and of course it's the first thing on my feed. I didn't go scrolling for 10 minutes and then find it. It was the first thing I saw. The
algorithm
and then I
had
immediately
it in
closed it
for you. The algorithm.
Anyway, so that was spoiled for me, and I'm gonna say I was genuinely really upset. That's like something I've kind of been waiting for my entire life, and this person just, I mean,
what? Who was it?
It's my fault, I guess. I'm not gonna name names. I unfollowed them. That's it. I can't,
Stupid
in
Joey.
time I'll get over it, but it just, I've been looking up, I've been watching all these like reviews of it and like real time, like reactions and stuff, and I get jealous. I feel like I missed out, and
so not to be like mean.
No,
but
I want you to share your experience.
But you did miss out.
Yeah, I know.
I will, and it's a shame. I will say I watched it. I watched the episode I should have watched it far earlier. I went on Instagram. I did not pay attention. I still went on social media.
So you did what I did.
I did what you did,
but you just got
I
lucky.
didn't. Yeah, I guess I got lucky. I spent probably like an hour and a half on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube that day, and nothing was spoiled for me. And now looking back, I wish I hadn't, because I'm really glad. I mean, technically it wasn't spoiled for me, but the possibility that it could have been, I wish I had not.
It was. I'm sure it was one swipe away.
It was amazing, the reveal. I was shocked. But anyway.
But Binary Sunset called it. I'm gonna be honest. I know last episode I wavered a little bit, and I was like, well, it could be Mace Windu.
Well,
that was the dumbest thing I could have said.
we'll get into that later. So, Avi, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Just in one sentence, name what was the greatest thing you saw in that episode. One sentence.
Okay. I'm not gonna name the obvious.
That's
obviously.
A sentence.
What's a sentence?
You just said I'm not
gonna name the
So
obvious scene.
Okay.
But I will name. So my favorite scene.
Just one sentence. We'll get into it later.
Okay, one sentence. Yeah. Fine.
That's another sentence.
Jesus.
We're on a paragraph.
That's another
now.
sentence.
Yeah, we're on another paragraph.
My favorite part was when Mando took off his helmet and Baby Yoda reached out and touched his face. And I wept like a baby.
Okay.
Comma, that was a comma, you motherfucker.
Right, comma. I'm just making sure, because we're on two paragraphs. My favorite part of the episode was when I wasn't sure if it was Luke or another Jedi near the end.
Oh, that must have been a great fucking feeling.
It was a great feeling.
You bastard.
All right. Do you want to sum up the episode?
This week has been relentless.
Do you want to sum up the episode, and then we can get into talking about it more?
Yeah. Let's sum it up.
Yep.
So we start off in action right away.
Yep.
Boba Fett is chasing after a Lambda class shuttle, holding Dr. Pershing and 2 Imperial pilots. He nails them, disables the ship, boards the ship, which was such a cool scene, by the way. The Slave One coming up from the window.
Yeah.
That was freaking awesome.
Can I just say something? And this is very nitpicky of me, but it's something that I can't. When the other Imperial officer turns on, when one of the Imperial officers shoots the other in the back because he's a deserter.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice like the sound he made? Like he gets shot in the back and he's like, Watch it again.
To be honest, I did not notice that.
Okay, get back to me. I rewatched it like 5 times because I thought it was hilarious. Anyway, keep going. It's just not a sound.
I didn't notice that.
It's not a sound somebody makes when they get shot in the back.
All right, I'll take a look at that. What did you want him to do?
I don't know. It's just like not like.
Oh, is that more believable?
It sounded like he was like. It sounded like he just jumped into a cold bath. That's all. It sounded like he was getting shot.
Okay.
Nitpick.
You're thinking more hot bath for a more realistic gunshot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going.
So we get to that part. He holds Dr. Pershing for ransom as Cara Dune, Boba Fett, and I think is the Mando. Did he board too?
Yes.
I can't remember.
I believe he did.
And his co-pilot's like, oh, like whatever, I don't care. And his co-pilot shoots him, puts a gun to Pershing's head. He's like, this guy's worth a lot of money to the New Republic. You need him alive. Cara Dune's like, oh, he goads Cara Dune. He's like, we blew up your planet.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad that your planet blew up because a bunch of terrorists were wiped out from the galaxy. She's like, she goes, she bullies him about the 2 Death Stars that blew up, and then all of a sudden he cares about human life, and he's like, oh, people died on those.
What a snowflake!
That was a weird flip for him.
It was.
But that was I really enjoyed that exchange.
Yep.
And then she's like, enough of this nonsense. Just shoots him in the freaking head. I didn't notice this, but apparently she clips off a piece of Dr. Pershing's ear.
Oh, I did not notice that. No.
Yeah, it's a small detail that I noticed later. Next part, they pretend that they're flying that they're the Imperial officers flying,
and they're
the ship,
getting attacked by Boba Fett.
and they're getting attacked. So they kind of stage a little fight there, or a chase. They head towards Moff Gideon's light cruiser. They ask for support. They ask for emergency landing permit, whatever. I don't know what that's called. Whatever it is. They need to get in the fucking ship. And Moff Gideon, being the smart guy that he is, he's like, no, just send out the fighters. So the fighters are sent out. Things get a little messy.
And
they're like, no, we need clearance into the ship, and they just kind of blast right through there.
Yep. And then they just start blasting through the ship.
Yeah.
They immediately get out. There's no like episode 4, like we're trying to sneak around. No, it's just like boom, 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 boom.
It's very reminiscent of just the Rise of Skywalker scene.
I thought about that. Yes.
I didn't really like that scene in Rise of Skywalker, to be honest.
That's fine. They basically shoot their way through the ship.
Yep, shoot their way through the ship.
Not a lot of issues.
Get to the bridge. Yep. Mando breaks off from them. He's like, I'm gonna go find the baby. They basically kill everybody on the bridge, and Mando gets to the baby's little cell.
Grogu.
And Moff Gideon's waiting for him with the Grogu. Fine, whatever.
No, it's Baby
Moff
Yoda.
Gideon's waiting for Mando with Grogu with the Darksaber at Grogu's head, and they face off. At first, Moff Gideon's like, you know what? Take the kid. I just want the Darksaber,
and I got his blood.
Right, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
we all knew that was bullshit. Mando reaches for the baby. Gideon attacks. They have a sword fight / spear fight.
Awesome.
It was really cool because you could see the Beskar kind of like heating up. On impact. I loved that. It was a nice touch. Great fight.
Yeah.
Ends with Mando disarming Moff Gideon, keeps him alive, grabs the baby. They go to the. Oh, I completely skipped over. Before he gets to the cell, he has to fight a dark trooper.
Yes, they have to fight a dark trooper. One.
And he shoots off the rest of them in space. I knew the second he did that, I'm like, they have jetpacks on them. Yeah, they're flying right back. This is not over. But he had so much trouble fighting that first one.
Yeah.
Which just like it defined the threat that they were.
Yeah.
It showed that he can't handle one with one Beskar spear. These things are tough. So they all get to the bridge. Moff's in handcuffs, and Bo-Katan is pretty fucking pissed because she wanted to disarm him because she wanted the Darksaber because it needs to be one, which is kind of hypocritical of her because she was kind of just handed it to in Rebels, at the end of Rebels, by Sabine Wren.
Well, so I was gonna say, technically, like Gideon's kind of Gideon's giddy because he's like, you can't just give her the Darksaber; she has to take it from you. Right. He's like, nah, just give her to her. Technically, they make it sound like she needs to kill Mando, but Mando didn't kill Gideon. So
you don't need to. You just have to win it in combat.
Yeah, but
you don't have to kill anybody.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't.
But the way she got it before was just by having it being handed to her. So maybe she learned, and people are like getting really annoyed by that.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily care. I think that maybe in those years in between, she realized that she actually needed to win it.
Sure.
And she, having just being handed to her, she wasn't the real ruler of Mandalore. So maybe she had to maybe she lost it on purpose just to gain it back through combat. Who knows? But,
and in the
short story short, Mando's the ruler of Mandalore.
And then we think that we're about to witness another crazy fight, and then bam, an X-Wing appears.
Yep. Out of the blue. Flies right by. Cara Dune makes a funny joke. Oh, just one X-Wing? No, we're safe.
Yeah.
But, anybody who saw that X-Wing, anybody who knows anything about Star Wars knows the second you see that X-Wing, a lone X-Wing, that's Red 5, baby. That's Red 5. That's Luke motherfucking Skywalker.
And basically we have, I would say even a better scene. It's kind of a scene that is, in a sense, modeled off of Rogue One at the end when Darth Vader's just mowing down a bunch of rebels, but this time it's Luke, and he's mowing down a bunch of dark troopers. We don't know it's Luke yet, even though he has a green lightsaber. He's a dark hood. He has a.
I think if the X-wing didn't tip you off, the green lightsaber shoulda.
Yeah.
But I loved how they did it.
Yeah.
The music was really cool too.
The music was good.
You just see a hooded figure walking down the hall.
How
that looked like Return of the Jedi,
and how he mows down all those dark troopers is just great.
Yep,
like
you get the Vader hallway scene. But you know what? And we can get into this later. But sure. I just that was just so well done.
Yep.
I was even though it was spoiled for me, I was completely blown away by this episode. They open the door for him after he slices and dices all those droids, and he takes his hood off and we see Luke.
Yeah.
Deep fake, obviously.
Yes, of course. Star Wars loves its deep fakes.
And we'll get into that also as well.
We will.
But just to finish off this episode, Baby Grogu doesn't want to go. Mando's he sounds kind of happy about that in his voice, but Luke's like, he needs your permission. So you have like a kind of like a Luke Vader moment where Mando sees his baby boy with his own eyes.
Yeah, he takes off his helmet.
It's such a that moment really got me more than I thought.
Same.
And
yeah.
And he touches Mando's face. Mando puts him down. R2-D2 comes in.
That was so cute.
And Baby Yoda just waddles over. I loved that. That was adorable.
So yeah, keep going. Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt.
No, so yeah. Baby Yoda just waddles over to R2.
And then R2 and waddles and and then Luke smiles and picks him up.
Luke smiles, picks him up, and then you get this really cool shot after they walk down the hall and Mando is tearing up. You get this cool shot of R2-D2, Luke, and Baby Yoda in the elevator, and then it shuts.
Yeah.
Episode's over, or is it? Credits roll. Then we get a big surprise, a secret reveal of the Book of Boba Fett. Opens on the binary sunset, Tatooine, Jabba's palace.
Us.
Bib Fortuna.
Sunset.
Bib Fortuna has been pretty lazy these past few years. Kind of molded into the role of Jabba.
Like fake, like literally, like he looks like Jabba the Hutt. I was wondering, is he just gonna turn into Jabba the Hutt? Is that how it works? You just eat so much and then you turn into this green caterpillar?
I don't know, man. But yeah, he's not looking the best, but it's funny. He's like, "Hey, Boba, I heard rumors that you're alive," and then he just shoots everybody in there with Fennec Shand, throws his dead corpse off of the throne, sits there. Book of Boba Fett coming December 2021. So there's that. Yeah, that's that.
Good.
Okay, so we covered the finale, basically the outline of it. Mm-hmm. Let's get into the nitty gritty.
The nitty gritty is that the next day after I watched the episode, I rewatched the last 15 minutes like 3 times.
Oh, me too. Oh yeah. I couldn't stop watching. I could not stop watching other people's reactions to. I think because I wanted to live vicariously through them.
Yeah, sure, that makes sense.
Because I just fucking missed out on it. I binged so many different reaction videos, and I was crying along with. There were 2 moments. In this episode that I cried.
Yes,
and 2 different reasons why I did so.
Okay.
One was obviously Luke Skywalker, just the X-wing coming, and having known that it was Luke, I knowing the whole time, I was crying the second that X-wing showed up, and it brought me back to just like me like playing Luke Skywalker in my home movies as a 10-year-old in my backyard, like swinging that lightsaber, pretending to like, just like the legend of Luke.
Yeah. Something we've never seen Luke do before in his still kind of prime,
Right. I mean, this is a specific point in his life where it's after Return of the Jedi, and he's building the Jedi Temple. He's the Luke that we dreamt about.
Yeah.
When we were kids,
the Luke we read about in the legends.
What does he do after Return of the Jedi? And a lot of people are like, well, this is what we should have gotten in The Last Jedi. I highly disagree. I think that there's a need for both types of
Luke.
facets to this character. There's two different moments of his life. And I appreciate what we got in The Mandalorian 10 times more because we had what we had in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But
Same.
that was the moment that I was just I was a little kid again, man.
Yeah.
And it was Luke fucking Skywalker saving the day, and you didn't have to worry about him killing people because it was just a bunch of metal droids,
Robots, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We got what we wanted, but we didn't have to sacrifice he didn't have to sacrifice his morality.
Yeah.
So we could just sit back and relax and watch and enjoy. The second time I cried was when Mando and Baby Yoda had to separate.
Yeah.
And we spent 2 seasons with these people, with these characters, and we've been through so much with them. And Luke felt like a presence that I didn't want there at that point. I'm like, no, don't go to Luke. And Luke is the guy he's our hero, right? He's the guy that we always want around. But, in that moment, I was like, no, you can't. They can't separate. They can't leave each other, especially because we know what happens down the line. But it's just such a beautiful, powerful moment.
Yeah.
All
no,
right.
I
What about
totally agree.
I talked for a while.
no, it's fine. I mean, just everything about, again, like the last 15 minutes is amazing.
Yeah.
I at first disliked how much they relied on a deep fake. Luke, I mean, technically, from what I understand, they got Mark Hamill and he actually helped.
He was there. He was on set.
He was on set.
Yep.
So
he did the voice too.
That's the best case scenario for de-aging, I guess. I mean, it's not even much of a deep fake. It's more of a de-aging, a CGI. But I mean, I really enjoyed the moments when I didn't see Luke's face. That's my only issue. There was one really good shot at the end, and this is very nitpicky of me, but it's something that I think I do not like about Disney Star Wars is that they really rely on deep fakes and de-aging a lot. Specifically in Rogue One, I did not like the Princess Leia. Tarkin looked all right, but the Princess Leia at the end kind of ruined the moment for me. But going back to this,
they can't get it right, man.
Well, the thing is, they don't need to do it. They don't need to do it. There's something that's mysterious about not showing everything. I mean, that's part of the magic.
I absolutely agree with that. I'm gonna say, like, at the end of the day, like it felt weird on the first watch.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, that's obviously obviously my brain was like, that's not necessarily correct.
Yeah.
Our brains naturally do that, but I gotta say, like, I don't really care anymore. It's the actual just presence of Luke Skywalker that makes that moment so magical for me.
No. So I agree.
I can definitely look past it.
I agree.
Yeah.
But again, I just don't like, because the thing is, I can tell. Everybody can tell that it's not real Luke Skywalker. That's my problem. And a lot of people always. Let me get into what I don't like about de-aging and deepfake specifically, because a lot of times I feel like people say they hate deepfakes or de-aging software. A lot of times they don't specify why it's bad, in my opinion. And the reason why I don't think it's good is kind of what happened in this episode, where for most, and again, it was very, very short, but every single time you saw Luke, he didn't really have an expression on his face. And that's my problem with deepfakes, is that it kind of takes you out of the moment, because I mean, us as human beings, and like the whole reason why a lot of times we enjoy movies is because of reactions. We like to see how people act. We like to see how, and then this is true for CGI too, really well done CGI and animation, how certain characters react during specific moments of the scene. And my problem was that for most of the scene, Luke kind of just, his eyebrows didn't move, his eyes didn't move, his lips had some issues. And it's, for me, it's close to an uncanny valley. I mean, this is, I love like talking about and thinking about and watching all these different elements of CGI. So I'm kind of a geek, and it may not bother most people, but for me, I just felt that it was unnecessary, and everything could have been accomplished, if not better, without specifically showing relying so much on a deep fake Luke. Now there was one shot, and this is me being nitpicky at the end, that was really well done because they actually made him react to what Mando was saying. I mean, it's such a personal scene, and I mean, you can see Baby Yoda's puppet, and it looks amazing. It's real, and Pedro Pascal as Mando, he's a real person, and it's real. And then I just look at Luke, and I'm like, why? I'm not getting anything from this. I see my childhood, and I see something that is really cool, but when it comes to how it actually fits into the scene, I'm a little bit taken back by it. So that's me dissecting why I have a problem with it. Now it's just a nitpick, but yes.
No, totally. That you're totally welcome to think. To feel that way. I definitely bounce between that and other feelings. But I think the way I see it as is, Luke in that moment in that scene is the legend that we thought of him as. He is the idea of Luke that we've always dreamt about. And so him being more realistic or less realistic has on the more watches that I have.
Yeah.
It's less and less important to me that he's like in that moment and real. It's more just like the idea and presence of him that makes it magical for me, if you can get that. But
I agree.
I
agree.
I totally understand where it comes
I just don't want to see his
because
face
I
as much.
definitely sort of feel that way too.
And this is going to my next little rant. But guess what? I'm not the only one that thinks it. In fact, a lot of Star Wars fans think this, but Sebastian Stan, the guy that plays the Winter Soldier in, I mean, he's a pretty well-known actor. He was also in Gossip Girl, but he was better known for.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he was. It's fine. Quarantine watching. But anyway, he was the Winter Soldier, and he was Bucky. In the Avenger movies and Marvel movies, he looks just like Luke. He's a good actor. Let's just make him. And there's no problem. There's no issue with having a different actor play a character that's already established. In fact, Star Wars is pretty good at letting multiple actors let multiple actors play the same character throughout the Star Wars universe. I mean, if you have a problem with this, you probably, I'm being a little bit defensive, but at the same time, I feel strongly about this. Ewan McGregor being, did I pronounce his name right? Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan in the prequels.
Ewan McGregor.
He is amazing. And guess what? Also,
he is Obi-Wan.
But Sir Alec Guinness is also Obi-Wan in the original trilogy. That is an example of two different actors portraying the same character, and it worked perfectly. They complement each other. I think the same could be done with Sebastian Stan.
I think the issue is.
Yeah.
And here's why I think it's a little different than that. Is because that would be like if, 20 years before A New Hope, Alec Guinness played the younger version of Obi-Wan Kenobi, then played the older version, and then, in the 2000, late 90s, 2000s, they went back to that period of time, but then they recast him. That's what it'd be like. But, but
you
know what I'm saying?
I get it. I think,
and I understand too. And I don't think Mark. I think Disney finds themselves in a quandary with this one because you either recast Luke while the actor's still alive, which we don't even have anymore with Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford's never gonna fucking do that again. I mean, come on. We have literally Luke Skywalker still alive, the actor, ready to play the role, and it either you do that or you recast, and then you kind of lose the opportunity to use Mark Hamill as much as possible for that authentic feeling of that's Luke. So you kind of have to balance that, and I honestly think having Mark Hamill in that episode was the best choice. I don't think I would have liked Sebastian.
I agree with that. I agree with that specifically. However, I'm gonna assume Luke's gonna be in more.
Yes,
of
if they
these.
do like a
And
I heard of like a Luke series
but
floating
I
around.
well, I think Sebastian could just be Luke throughout
Yeah,
all these different series, and this would have been a perfect opportunity for him to start. This would have been a great breakout
sure.
for what is to come. That is my
I
argument.
don't think fans will mind if though if like there is a Luke Skywalker series and Sebastian Stan is cast. I don't think they're gonna be like, well, they look different. Like Mark Hamill there, Sebastian Stan there. Like I don't think people are gonna care. I think they're gonna
No,
understand.
I don't think people are going to care. Also, I mean, the thing is that this is again, people hate to say this and they think it's lame, but honestly, it's the truth. Star Wars is for kids, and every generation is going to look at what Star Wars film or TV or media that's being made in front of them and think that is the closest to them. So
Yeah,
I would also put that out as food for thought. A lot of young kids look at the sequel trilogy as their version of Star Wars and nothing else. So, and
yeah,
that's totally fine. So,
yeah.
yeah. So, where will we see Grogu and Mando next? And I say this because we don't know if Mando or Grogu are coming back. Like
Well,
this is the whole, and maybe you know more about this. From what I understand, and from how this episode left us, is that this is the end for now to the Mandalorian, and then maybe the Mandalorian can kind of become like all these different series. Like this is the Mandalorian season 1 through 2 was about Pedro Pascal's character, and then the
mhm,
Mandalorian going next is the Book of Balba. That's how I interpreted it.
yeah. So I definitely at the time kind of saw it that way too.
Yeah.
They kind of cleared it up recently. John Favreau had an interview on Good Morning America yesterday that I
Oh,
watched,
okay.
and he's basically like, Book of Boba Fett is a completely different series.
Oh, okay.
Completely different shooting schedule, and season 3 of Mandalorian is coming out in December, and it will feature. He didn't say Mandalorian by name, but he says our favorite character.
Oh,
So I
okay.
think I just want to. I'm gonna assume that he's talking about Mando.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's what I think. And obviously, like the end of the episode got me thinking. Like, okay, that was beautiful. That was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
We know that Grogu's off to a temple that's gonna be doomed in 15 years.
Yeah. School
Mando is
shooting.
Mando's by himself now. I mean, I think you know what? I think the path for Mando is way clearer than that of Grogu, and I think that season 3 is obviously gonna be about them reclaiming Mandalore,
Yeah.
uh, and him being the ruler of Mandalore, or finally like allowing him and Bo-Katan to fight, and she can take it, whatever. Because I don't think he wants it. He's the reluctant leader, which is the best kind of leader. But
And that
um,
makes me think he will be the leader.
I think in the end he should be. Um, as for here's what I think is gonna happen.
Uh-huh.
Here, if I were writing this,
Yes.
and this is also example why I shouldn't be writing this, but we have that whole thing, like maybe Siege of Mandalore, because the Siege of Mandalore was in the Clone Wars. That's when they were trying to take it back
Mhm.
from Maul, who was the ruler of Mandalore at one point.
Yes.
And this will be like the Siege of Mandalore Part 2, where they take it back from whoever the fuck is there. We don't even know. I don't think the Emperor. I don't think the Empire is still there. But
That's where
that whole thing that whole thing plays out. Maybe that's like literally like right after the end of season 2. But I think there's gonna be a time jump,
Yeah,
and I think
I
that
agree.
Grogu cannot stay at that fucking temple. I swear to God, he has to have left.
Dude.
I'm sorry, he had to have left. He had to have left.
Grogu turns into the Knights of Ren. It's happening.
And I know comic. God,
I'm joking.
that'd be kind of cute though.
I mean, it wouldn't make any sense.
He'd be so little with a little mask.
Maybe Grogu just becomes the clone version of Palpatine. I'm just shitting out bricks now.
That's so.
I know. I'm not being serious. Yeah. Keep
Okay.
going.
I know the comic books were like, oh, like Ben Solo didn't actually kill anybody. Palpatine killed all the people, and he just ran away. No, in my mind, Kylo Ren killed his fellow students. That makes sense to me. He turned to the dark side.
Yeah.
He burned it down. That's a real character choice. I'm sorry, but Yeah, don't do this wishy-washy bullshit. So in my headcanon, he did that. He did what we thought he did. The entire fucking trilogy. Grogu had to have left because if Kylo Ren, if that motherfucker killed Grogu.
Kylo Ren wasn't Ben Solo. Kylo Ren was Kylo Ren who carried out the evil. That's how Star Wars gets away with this, because they have this weird duality where basically
they need people to be really bad. But they also need people to be all the good.
They just turn. They have two ridiculously extremes, and they turn good people into like monsters, but they just refer to them as two different people, which I don't think he kills Grogu. I don't think they kill.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either. That's just too. Disney would not do that.
Yeah, Disney would not do that.
So, which means that they have to explain where he went, because we're just going to assume that that was the case.
Yeah,
and that poor baby had to live through 2 Jedi purges. Think about that.
So, getting back to what we actually believe. No, it's fine. I think I see what you were saying, where like Mando and his fellow Mandalorians try to go and take back Mandalore. Down the road, maybe another season after that would be Mando going to rescue Grogu. That's what I think could happen. Technically, he could still kind of be Baby Yoda. He may be a baby toddler, or a toddler Yoda, not a baby Yoda at that point.
He'd probably be able to speak by that point.
Yeah,
another 20 years.
At the same time, it's just a few. It's not.
Maybe even like a Goo Goo Gaga. I don't know.
Well, that's the thing. He's 50 years old. And he's still a baby. So, there's not that much time difference between when Luke picks him up and Ben Solo turns on him. But
15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So he'd be like what, 75 or 65, 70?
He's a toddler. But a very strong, powerful toddler.
A geriatric toddler.
I think that I could see that. Like being the last season of The Mandalorian, where they're like, we're bringing back the old crew.
Well, because it's funny, because I remember Giancarlo Esposito talking about season 4 already being in the works. Uh-huh. So they're not done with this.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you cleared it up, because I didn't know those facts. I just assumed that this was gonna be kind of like a series, like The Mandalorian was just going to be a series that jumps throughout different Mandalorians. Now, let me ask you, this is my last question, and there's a lot of speculation that we can go from here, but what do you want to see out of the book of Boba Fett?
Well, he's obviously building a crime syndicate. He's the weird thing is, like, it seems like when he walked in on them, there wasn't much crime syndicate.
Yeah, it seemed just
I don't know if that's not a word, but
it was a shadow of the huts.
Yeah, it was kind of just a husk of it. He's gonna build that back up. He's gonna become a crime lord, and here's what I this is not an original theory. I saw this. I don't know who. I'm sorry, I can't credit this to anybody specifically, but I saw this on the internet. That there's a good chance, or at least it would be a good idea, to have Grand Admiral Thrawn be the big bad of Ahsoka, Book of Boba Fett, Rangers of the New Republic, and Mandalorian, and then have a tie-in all together at a season finale for one of them. I thought it was a pretty interesting idea. That way you can have like the kind of Marvel effect of like the banding together crossover.
Do we want to play Thrawn?
Everyone's like Benedict Cumberbatch.
I was about to say it.
I don't really want that. I want.
Well, he's already Khan. He can't be Thrawn too.
Yeah, he already ruined Khan. I'm just joking. This is Star Wars, not Star Trek. I think the guy who I can't remember his name. It's Mikkelsen's brother, but I'm sorry.
Mikkelsen's brother.
Mads brother.
Oh, Mads Mikkelsen.
Voices him in the show in Rebels. So I think they should just use him, because he could absolutely play him. He's got that everyone talks about bone structure when it comes to Thrawn. Nobody cares about anything else except for bone structure, just because artist renditions have him with a really nice cheekbone.
You got to get structure. That German or Dutch cheekbone.
Yeah. I'd be happy with that, because it seems like, for Bo-Katan, Katie Sackhoff who voiced Bo-Katan played Bo-Katan. Ahsoka's voice actress
Sure.
did not,
Yeah.
but you could easily do Thrawn. And if not, I'm sure whoever does play him is going to do a bang up job. So
Sure.
I'm not too worried. But
I
I think if that's the direction they want to go, that'd be interesting.
I'd be interested to know what happens because there's not a lot we know still. We don't really know that much about Boba Fett still, which is kind of fascinating because he's a character that everybody
Yeah.
seems to love, but we really don't know that much about him. Maybe
I mean,
maybe they can flesh
yeah.
out his experience and his relationship with the Hutts and the crime syndicate in general, and just him talking
Definitely.
about who his dad was, and fleshing that out.
Definitely.
I mean,
I guess I didn't really answer your question. I kind of got on a tangent.
no, it's fine. I could see, and this could be done well.
Yeah.
And this now I'm a hypocrite, but I feel like they could get away with it because who's the actor that plays Boba Fett again? Not Jeremy.
Tamura Morrison.
Yeah, I mean, they have so much experience, like in the movies, like deep faking him, and like de-aging him.
Yeah, they've been doing that for since 05 or 02.
Well, so he was in also, not to go on a tangent, but Aquaman, and they de-aged him in that too.
Oh, was he?
Yes, he was. He's Aquaman's dad, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they de-aged him.
I love that actor. I think he's awesome.
He's great.
He's got such a cool voice too.
He does. But I would be interested to know maybe if they do any flashbacks.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
They could definitely do flashbacks.
Yes.
They should. Yeah, I think what they're gonna do is the A plot is obviously gonna be him building his empire. Yeah. B plot is gonna be him kind of
crime syndicate
finding himself again. Or that's what I meant, his crime empire.
Yeah.
And also just finding himself and like reacquainting himself with himself, because I feel like he's kind of gotten lost in his own mind about who he is after the Sarlacc pit. We don't know who he was. The deadly bounty hunter. Well, I think to himself he was pretty well defined to himself. Like, in Return of the Jedi, he was the deadly bounty hunter that captured Han Solo, blah blah blah. Got bested by a stick, and then fell into a Sarlacc pit.
It was a joke. It was a joke.
It was a joke.
How he died.
Yeah. And I think he was a joke to himself.
I'd be interested to know what his moral compass is, because he did something really good, but at the same time, it was his word. So it's kind of killing two birds with one stone there.
Right. It wasn't because deep in his heart he's like, oh, I have to save this child because that's the right thing to do. It's more of like, oh, I have to honor this code.
Yeah, Mandalorian code.
He's honor bound, but honor is kind of subjective.
It is, and yeah, it would be interesting. One thing that like I've seen some memes point out that I thought was really funny, but like it's just joking about how when Boba Fett, because technically Boba Fett was there, like near the spaceship, surrounding the spaceship when Mando was there.
I know
what do you think he thought? When do you think he thought or saw when he saw Luke's X-wing pull up? Like, it's the same guy.
What do you think Luke thought?
Yeah, I mean, Luke probably didn't care. Luke probably Luke's a boss.
I love like when they're it's the meme from oh god, what's that show on Netflix? The Umbrella Academy.
Oh yeah,
season 2. And they're looking at each other as the cars are passing.
That's a good one. Yep.
Yeah, that's I find that funny to think about. It's also interesting that Bo-Katan didn't even know that that she was in the same room as Anakin Skywalker's son. You know what I'd love to see is Luke and Luke and Ahsoka getting acquainted, being like, you were my dad's apprentice, and you were my master's son.
I've seen a lot of like fan fiction online.
Yeah, those are all kind of weird.
Yeah. But like fan fiction, thinking about what it would be like to have Luke and Ahsoka meet. That's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about just fanfic. I'm talking.
Oh, you're not talking about like that stuff.
I'm not talking about Annie Ahsoka. No.
I mean, hey, if you enjoy it.
No. What are we gonna talk about now?
Well, I think we got to get a little creative. We have to kind of improvise. You know what? I think there's a lot coming around the corner for the Binary
There's a
Sunset
lot to look forward
podcast.
to.
A lot of content coming, a lot of ideas swirling. So just get ready. 2021 is going to be a fun year. While we wait for the next 10 freaking projects, and then we don't have to work as much, and we could just talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for joining us yet again.
And thank you for all those who listened into every episode recap we did. And I'm talking about just from the beginning where we clumped 3 episodes together to now.
Yes.
Where we're just doing a single one.
Thank you guys for sticking with us. We finally, for the last 2 episodes, got to just review episode by episode. Yep. So we slacked off. We're back on track.
Yes.
It's over now, but whatever. No, we just, thanks to all our viewers, all our listeners. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.